Way back when I did the first version of this show, I used to do it sitting down. I used to sit down. I used to sit in our walk-in closet. And I did the show that way for the whole run, like 120 odd episodes or whatever. And this version, the 2.0 version, I do for my garage, which I lovingly refer to as the No Future Studios production, or No Future Production Studios. I don't refer to it like that as often as I should. But today, for a change, I'm delivering the show seated for the first time in ages. So I'm sitting down in my groovy chair, and we're going to talk a little bit of what's going on in the country today. Yeah. We're going to talk about dogs at some point, but not in a good way. Let's go. Welcome back to Trent Takes On. I'm the Trent from the title of the show, Trent Takes On 2.0. Welcome back to Trent Takes On 2.0. I'm the Trent from the title of the show. And yeah, I'm seated today for the first time in ages. Now, is it better to deliver this standing up or sitting down? I don't really know. When I stand, I feel more like a comedian or a crooner, it's just me and a microphone, and I'm like, hey. Anyway, it's a throwback to my days as a frontman in a ska band in the 90s. When the world made more sense because we didn't know as much as we do now, but we know a plenty now. And what do I want to talk about this week on the fabulous, the wonderful, the fabulous Trent Takes On 2.0 that you're sharing with your friends? I can already feel it because, yeah, I get more popular every week, right? Thanks to you. Thank you for being with me on this journey. I usually say that right near the end of the show, but I'm going to do it up front. This week I want to talk about two things. I got two big topics. The first is last week the Supreme Court of the United States ruled in a case called Calais versus Louisiana. I think it was Calais versus Louisiana. Basically, they ruled to eliminate the last real provision of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 that requires majority-minority districts in proportion to the population to ensure that people of color have an opportunity to elect a representative of their choosing. Basically, it's an anti-gerrymandering facet that the Congress put in place in 1965. There's no ambiguity as to why it was put in place the way it was. 1965, I don't know how to break this to people today, but 65 was literally 61 years ago. This is not ancient history. It's not. We know exactly what Congress was thinking when they put together the Voting Rights Act. This ruling by the Supreme Court of the United States essentially says that a majority district is racist against white people. Yeah. So basically they're saying that because it's racist against white people, you can't factor in race when you draw maps for congressional districting purposes. Okay, so basically they're saying that all bets are off. And the instant that this ruling came down, the state of Louisiana's governor, a guy named Jeff Landry, suspended voting, which had already begun because they had already sent out absentee ballots to Louisiana citizens living abroad or serving in the military. So they suspended the election so that they could redraw the maps. And they want to redraw the map that the Supreme Court has found unconstitutional because it it harms the voting power of white people, which is fucking hilarious. They've suspended the election so that they can redraw the maps. Alabama and Mississippi have jumped into the fray to do the same thing. There are calls in Georgia to do the same thing. Experts say it could eliminate as many as 19 majority-minority districts across the South. And, okay, for the record, I just want to point out that you still have to have the elections. Just because they choose who votes doesn't mean who votes for whom. Doesn't mean that the races are done. So we still have that going for us. It's a race to see who can be more racist across the South. It's gross. It's just vile. It's disgusting. It's wrong. It's exactly what I would expect out of modern conservatism, which is a dying breed, because modern conservatism is some sort of twisted version of old school social conservatism. It's about racism. It's about bigotry. It's about misogyny. If you're a conservative out there and you're like in with the current Republican Party, you're in with fascism. You're in with homophobia. You're in with misogyny. You're in with treating women terribly, like second-class citizens. You're in with a whole lot of awful shit that you shouldn't want to be in with. When I was young, I thought conservatism was about preservation of like the family ideal. Like moms and dads staying together and raising kids and taking care of, rural communities and fiscal responsibility where the government doesn't spend more than it brings in. And they were like, we don't believe in high taxes, but we also don't believe in a lot of spending. That was conservatism for a long time. And now it's this. It's hatred. It's meanness. It's white men should rule everything. White straight men should rule everything, and the rest of the population should just shut up and know their place. That's what modern conservatism is in this country, and it's xenophobic, and it's small-minded. It's myopic, if you will. It's gross. It runs against the theory that all persons are created equal. It runs against the theory that men and women should be partners, that masculine and feminine energies are partners in this world, and that one is not greater than the other, that they are equal and greater than the sum of their parts. We are supposed to be striving for a more enlightened world instead of returning to one where the color of our skin or who we choose to love or what gods we choose to worship become more of an identifier than the content of our soul, of our actions. So, I don't think that this is going to work. For the record, I think that it's going to backfire horribly because we are discovering a new morality in this country, and you see it in every poll, and every time you talk to people who are engaged, that the engagement level of the engaged is increasing, and the spread of engagement is increasing. And those things together bring us a better moral clarity, where we understand how important it is to treat each other as equals, how important it is that justice be real and blind, how important it is that the rich not be allowed to change the rules of the game so that they remain rich forever and the poor remain poor forever, that we not have entrenchment of the classes in our society. We are hurtling towards a new, and I hope conservatives hear this phrase, a new wokeness, a new level of awareness. Woke is defined not by conservatives who can just take their version and shove it straight up their ass. Woke is defined by the society as awareness. That's what it is. It's awareness, acceptance, embrace. We are different and we are wonderful. We are all snowflakes in a way because together we create a blizzard that is impossible to ignore. So, to those conservatives, those Republicans out there, I don't even consider modern Republicans conservatives anymore. The national debt is over $39 trillion. And $13 trillion, or 1/3 of that, has been done under the 5 years and 3 months of Donald John Trump. And a giant chunk of the rest of it was done by George W. Bush and George H.W. Bush and some guy named Ronald Reagan. So, the last 3 presidents to reduce the deficit were Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton. In fact, they're the only 3 presidents of the last 40 plus years to reduce the deficit. So if you're thinking about fiscal conservatism, when Republicans are in charge, they spend money like drunken sailors, I guess is a good analogy. I don't know. They spend a lot of money. They refuse to bring in more taxes. In fact, they keep lowering taxes, which just reduces the base of money that we're drawing from to create and maintain a society for the hundreds of millions of people that live and attempt to strive and thrive in this country. So, I want to close that thought out by pointing out that last night Senate Republicans in the judiciary released a new spending bill proposition. It's a reconciliation bill that will require no Democratic votes, although it will get John Fetterman, who apparently has decided he's Republican, in a total betrayal of the people of Pennsylvania. Shocking. Turns out when you have a stroke, you can absolutely change your entire personality. So, the Republicans in the Judiciary Committee have proposed a new spending plan. This is to fund ICE and Customs and Border Patrol. It creates a slush fund for what are they calling them? Detention centers? They are concentration camps where people who have been detained by the deportation forces of Donald Trump will be held without due process until such time as they are thrown out of the country. And in the opinion of the Trump regime, to a third country is preferable than their home country. So, I consider that a violation of the 8th Amendment as well. not to mention the fact that it violates due process and the basic tenets of the justice system in the United States. But also in this little bill, I just want to throw this out there just for fun. They threw in a billion with a B, billion dollars for Donald Trump's East Wing project, his little ballroom and security measures. So I remember when the ballroom started and he just knocked down the entire East Wing without telling anybody that he was going to do it. He just did it. And then they started building this thing, and he kept telling us that it was going to cost $200 million and it was paid for by donations and that it wouldn't cost the American taxpayer anything. So first it was $200 million, and then the next week it was $300 million. But it was still going to be paid for with, donations. It's not I don't know why everybody's so upset. He would say it's not like the tax. I'm not taking taxpayer money to do this. You're not even paying for it. And then it was $400 million, but it's okay because it's still being paid for by private companies who are currying favor with Donald Trump. Well, according to the Senate Republicans, now it's going to be $1 billion and it's going to be paid for by us, the taxpayer. In yet another ridiculous betrayal and another fuck you to the American people, I guess. The ballroom, I believe that I saw the polling on it. It stands at about 21% approve. So, and the disapproval was over 70%. So, I don't think that in a time where, the majority of Americans can't survive a $400 crisis, $1 billion ballroom is a good idea. I don't see the wisdom in it because it's stupid. So we'll just say that. Now, that was the first thing I wanted to talk about. Just the Voting Rights Act being gone and the modern Republican Party attempting to take advantage of the system to game it as much as possible to remain in power. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, said that he wanted to make sure that the adults in the room continue to control the levers of power. And that's why he's good with all this redistricting. I want you to think about that. He wants the adults need to be able to stay in charge, is according to Mike Johnson. Yeah. So the adults are the ones who keep spending money like drunken sailors. The adults are the ones who ignore the will of the people. The adults are the ones that get us into wars with no exit plan and no actual idea as to what constitutes a win. We don't know why we're there, and we don't know how we will gauge whether or not we've quote unquote succeeded. So, those are the adults that he wants to make sure remain in power. I'm going to say this. This is going to be a blanket statement. If you're a Republican and you listen to my show, you are a legitimate glutton for punishment. But if you're a Republican in this country right now and you're on board with all this shit that's going down from, choosing your own voters in a re-gerrymandering race to attempt to keep any checks from being put on Donald Trump and his excess. If you're cool with the president being able to unilaterally impose taxes on us in the form of tariffs and impose war on the world, fuck you, Republican. Fuck you. You all suck. Have some ethics, have some integrity. Any kind of integrity would be a massive improvement. All right. That being said, I did want to talk about something very specific, and it was the dog thing that I mentioned in the open. I actually teased this last night on a Clippers podcast that I did where we were talking about the Los Angeles Clippers NBA franchise, which I'm a fan of, which should probably make everybody question my sanity, and that's fine. We all have the weird things that we love, and some people love doing jigsaw puzzles. Some people follow mediocre franchises and enjoy their sports. But I wanted to talk about territorial dogs. We've all had pets. Not everybody's had pets. I guess I should say it like that. Most people have had pets. Many people have dogs. Some people have cats. Some people have seemingly random pets. Everything from guinea pigs and gerbils and ferrets to birds, which I don't know that I'm okay with people keeping birds as pets. It just doesn't seem right. I had to live with a blue and gold macaw once for several months. I did not like it. It was very, very loud. It was very, very stinky. It smelled awful. And I was like, how long does a bird like this live? And the owner said, that 80, 90, 100 years. And I was like, wow. Yeah. So nothing like getting a pet that your grandkids are going to have to take care of someday. Anyway, dogs in particular were what I wanted to talk about. I used to have a dog. I loved this dog. He was a miniature schnauzer. He had white hair, which is a real rarity. But it wasn't albino. His hair was white. So I had this white miniature schnauzer. His name was Bowser. I got him as essentially a rescue. He was on his way to the animal shelter, but I picked him up from the former owner on the free, along with his mate, Macy. But Bowser in particular, the little boy, he was never neutered. She was spayed, but he wasn't neutered. And he was territorial. He peed on everything. Like he just wanted to pee on everything. Now, thankfully he was housebroken so he didn't pee in the house. But the instant he got outside, it was, I've got to pee on every bush, every rock, every tree, every patch of grass, those tires on that car, that bicycle that some kid left out, this bird feeder, that mailbox, these other bushes, that was him. Everything. And it was amazing how much he would hold on. He would a little squirt here, a little squirt there, I know this is kind of disgusting, but you got to understand. This is the kind of territorial behavior that is just like, oh my God, the dog obviously has a mental disorder if it thinks that it's that territorial. I mean, come on, son. How much do you really have to mark? And so when I moved him out here to California, he was originally an Oklahoma dog. And I living in this huge apartment complex. Of course, he's intermingling with a bunch of other dogs, which just makes him even more territorial. He's got to pee everywhere. He's got to hold it. And he's an old man. Surely he can't hold his bladder that long. Anyway. We have the same thing going on in our White House. Anybody notice this? I wanted to point this out because it is, it's a borderline psychotic what's going on with Donald Trump and having to pee on everything, put his name on everything. He has to put his name on everything. He has to be in your face all the time. He has to be the center of attention at all times. At no point can you think about anything other than Donald Trump. That's the rule in this country right now. And he puts his name on it. He was obsessed with leaving his legacy and his name being everywhere. He's obsessed. Reports have come out that he's absolutely obsessed with going down in history as one of the greatest and most powerful presidents of all time. Now, I point this out for two reasons. Number one, it's crazy. Okay? The old man is off his fucking rocker. And number two, it betrays the office and betrays the American people who he supposedly works for by putting him above everyone else's needs. So in the realm of presidents, what you're supposed to do is put the nation first. The nation comes before you. You serve the nation. You serve the people of the nation. You serve the future of the nation. In fact, you serve the past of the nation as well. But not Donald Trump. Donald Trump doesn't understand service. He's just an old dog that has to pee on everything. When you serve the people, you do what's best for them. You maintain the society that we've created. You help open it even more so that more people get the opportunities that are granted to some, but not all. All men are supposed to be created equal here. Sure, it says men, but I've always thought of it as people. We're attempting to distill those original words. 250 years old, the Declaration of Independence. All people created equal with unalienable rights, rights that can't be taken away from them. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. That's the first promise of this country. That's the thing that every president and every representative elected to be a leader in this country is supposed to live up to that. You're supposed to believe in that. It's not just the Constitution, my friends. It's really not. It's the Declaration too. The Constitution just sets up how we accomplish the goals. But the goals are laid out in the Declaration of Independence. It's one small piece of paper, as featured in the 2004 Nicolas Cage film, National Treasure. That, for the record, that's a guilty pleasure of mine. I enjoy the hell out of that movie, even though it's absolutely insane. Donald Trump doesn't believe in service. He doesn't believe in putting the country before himself. Estimates are that he has tripled his personal wealth in the last 15 months. Tripled. He's now worth approximately $6.5 billion. He's made $2.1 billion in cryptocurrency alone, which for the record isn't a real fucking thing. It's just money laundering. It's just a fake way to move around dollars and cents. Trent coin would be worthless, but to me, I'm rich as hell. I've got all the Trent coin. Cryptocurrency is a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's not real. It doesn't represent anything. There's nothing backing it up. Anytime you pretend something is has some sort of value, but it doesn't, and you get people to invest in that, that's called a Ponzi scheme. That's illegal. People go to prison for that for a long, long time. But for some reason, we've decided that cryptocurrency is fine. Cryptocurrency needs regulation, which is actually the opposite of what crypto bros want, because if you regulate it, well, then they can't abuse it. So if you're a crypto fanatic and you're listening to this, get your head examined, get out of the business as quick as you can and get as much as you can for what you've dumped into it, because eventually that shit is going to come tumbling down and you will lose it all. So, Trump makes himself rich using the powers of the presidency to pick winners and losers. He gets gifted things like $400 million jets from the Qataris, who are really regretting that decision now, considering there's a war raging all around them that they can't turn off. But anyway, I got a partial list of things that Donald Trump is peeing on, as in putting his name on shit. And this is not a comprehensive list by any means. There are lots of other things that they've already put his name on or are attempting to put his name on, etc., etc. He's going to have his picture on the passports that are released this year. His picture is actually over the Constitution of the United States, at least the preamble. So that's fun. He's putting himself over the. Anyway, he's doing a commemorative coin. Yeah, it has his face on it. He wants to sign his currency. He's going to be the first ever living president whose signature is on currency. That's fun, isn't it? First time that's ever happened. There's the Donald Trump Institute of Peace. Yeah. The Institute of Peace. He just threw his name on it because he can do that. He has the Donald Trump Gold Card, which is their pay us $1 million. If you're a foreigner, you get to pay $1 million, and you get a visa, a long-term visa for $1 million. You just buy it. He put his name on the Trump. It's now the Trump Kennedy Center. Now that's not a legal name change. He just put his fucking name on there. It actually says the Donald J. Trump and John F. Kennedy Memorial Center for the Performing Arts. Anytime the word memorial is in there, it means it's in memoriam to that person who has passed away. Apparently, Donald Trump doesn't understand that. The Kennedy Center was created by Congress. It's named that way by Congress. If you want to change the name, you gotta go through Congress. It has to be signed into law because the law is that its name is the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. So anyway, let's see. He put his name on his new prescription service, Trump RX, which is a way for people who don't have insurance to get, I think it's 30 prescription drugs at a lower cost. I saw the list of drugs and the cost, and they ain't accessible. It's like no, like insulin was like $300. Yeah. They've got the Trump accounts. These are like for your children. They're going to put $1,000 into an account for them, which they're going to invest and move around. Apparently, they just made this shit up, and there's no like law creating it or managing it. But you can get the free $1,000. I think you can sign up for it when you file your taxes if you have children. He put his face on the National Parks Pass right next to George Washington for the year 2026. That was they did that bit on John Oliver. It was pretty funny. He's also putting his name on the F-57 warplane. I guess that's going to be called the Trump. And then we're doing Trump class warships that are being designed right now. Also, this one was just announced this week. There's going to be TrumpIRA.gov, and they're going to offer an IRA program to self-employed people or people whose employers do not offer a 401k or IRA account for retirement. And TrumpIRA.gov is going to be where you go to sign up for that. Now, the money for that is there's actually some money set aside for this. It was because it was passed in a 2022 bill by the guy who was president in 2022 and the Democratic Congress, Joe Biden. But Trump's going to go ahead and put his name on it because he's got to pee on everything. Donald Trump pees on everything. So much so that he's building a 250-foot Arc de Trump in Washington, D.C. It'll be the biggest arch. He doesn't even know what he's fucking doing. In the world, he's repainted the bottom of the reflecting pool, which, okay, $2 billion to paint the bottom of the reflecting pool blue. It's not what the point of it is, but okay. Donald Trump has his minions trying to get him added to Mount Rushmore. Seriously. Wants to be up there with Teddy Roosevelt and Washington and Jefferson and Lincoln and you know, because he's up there in that group of the most influential presidents of all time. Sure. He wants New York to rename Penn Station after him. And Dulles, or I think it was Dulles Airport. Yeah, he wants an airport named after him. He just wants to pee on everything. He wants his name on everything. Everything Trump, everything. Everything Trump. Wants to take over my podcast to call it Trump Takes On. Fuck you! How can you be this obsessed? I forgot about the ballroom. It's also going to be the Donald Trump ballroom at the White House, whatever. How could you forget about the ballroom, bro? I don't know. I just did. How can you in any way think about helping the American people to live a better life? Think about strengthening this society, making it a better place for our children and our children's children, for future generations? How can you concentrate on making sure that this 250th birthday of this country isn't the final birthday of this country, when all you're obsessed with is putting your name on everything? How is he supposed to do both? How do you serve the two masters? How do you serve the people of this country and the most out of control ego to ever hold this position of power? It's easy. You can't. You can't do what's right for the country while only focusing on what's right for you. It's never going to happen. Those two things can't coincide. Donald Trump's approval rating is down, depending on the poll you read, anywhere from 32 to 37% approve. That is kind of like, those are the stalwarts. Those are the cultists who refuse to believe he can do wrong. No matter how many times he depicts himself with AI slop as Jesus, which he did again. It was an AI generated image of Trump's face on a crucified Jesus's head, complete with crown of thorns. Easy for me to say, right? As blasphemous as the last time. No. Even more so. The man has picked fights with not just Iran, but the Catholic Church and the first American Pope. For the record, I'm not Catholic. I've never been Catholic. I've been to a few Catholic weddings and things like that where there's a lot of standing up, sitting down, kneeling. I don't know. It's the most up and down religion I've ever witnessed. You're up, you're down, you're down, you're up. There's a lot of kneeling, a lot of praying, a lot of structured prayer. I don't know. There's a lot of rules. But I'm not into it. But I'm on the Pope's side in this one. I'm on Pope Leo's side, when he says that the teachings of Jesus tell us that war is bad. I don't know why that's so controversial. But it is what it is. Donald Trump is horribly unpopular because he continues to think only about himself, and that includes taking everything personally. You know, the Pope saying that the war is bad is not like, hey, Donald Trump, you idiot, you shouldn't declare war on Iran. He didn't say that. He said war is bad. That's true, you know? War is bad. There's never been like, ooh, good war, you know? People die. Civilians, combatants alike, people die. Donald Trump is an old dog pissing on everything. Can't think about anything else. Just gotta leave his mark on the world. I just hope we get a check on this fool before it's too late. I believe we will. I still do. I'm still optimistic. Believe it or not. No matter how bad things get, I still look and go, yes, I'm spending $5.49 a gallon that was last week, for the record. It's more now on gasoline at Costco. But you know what? He's polling between 32 and 37%. We're still going to have elections. He hasn't canceled them yet. They may try to get around it. They may try to stop that from happening. They may try to refuse to acknowledge the winners of those elections, but the people won't stand for that. No, sir. No, sir. You think the No Kings protests are big now. Wait until, we're not going to acknowledge the winners of these elections. Oh, wait until that happens. And I think it will. Sadly, I think it will. Donald Trump can do no wrong. I beg to differ. Old dogs don't live forever. Whether you love them or not, they don't live forever. I was crazy about that dog, Bowser. He was a good dog. He was a good old man. I was crazy about that dog. And when he was 17, he developed a horrible, horrible cancer that grew and grew and grew. The tumor grew and grew until he couldn't walk anymore. And it was at that point that I had to put him down because it was just cruel to keep going. Now, I'm not advocating that for humans, be they Donald Trump or anybody else. Don't get me twisted here. Donald Trump is probably too old and too crazy to do this job anymore. It's time for him to just kind of like retire. Go play golf. You love that shit. Just go play golf. Go, just turn the keys over to Couch Humper Vance and go play some golf. And nobody will bother you. You can just be the king of your little domain in Palm Beach. And you can be the president of Mar-a-Lago forever and ever. And we'll keep your name on some stuff until we get around to changing it. How about that? How about that for a deal? I think that's a solid offer. And I'm sure that most of us would say that's fine. We will deal with the couch humper. I think we can keep him under control. Because he's not going to be popular. And the nobody will be scared of him. And I'm talking Congress won't be scared of him when we can actually put some checks and balances on him. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Let's do that. Because as unpopular as Donald Trump is, Just Dance Vance is way more unpopular. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. In the meantime, I guess I should probably wrap this thing up. My voice is shot. I podcast last night. Good Neighbor George has been completely inundated with a combination of work and family that has been sick quite a bit. There's this crazy illness that's going around. My family's been sick too, but I happen to dodge it every time. I would knock on wood, but I don't have any to knock on. I've been able to dodge it every time, basically. I mean, I'm sick for 15 minutes and then I'm over it. So anyway, we'll be back soon with another No Plan, No Problem podcast. As soon as I can pry him away from his work, which he's actually enjoying. What kind of sicko likes their job? Anyway, we'll have more No Plan, No Problem in the near future. And as for Trent Takes On, I'll continue to do this show. I continue to have fun with it. I don't have a huge amount of money invested in this one. I'm on an old plan that Buzzsprout doesn't even offer anymore. So I don't have a ton of hosting time available every month. But I also don't, I don't want to spend more money. I'm grandfathered into this plan. I don't want to give it up by expanding it and costing more. Come on, man. You've seen the price of gas. It's cray-cray. But I'll continue to do this. I can't do a ton of it because I have a limited amount of time that I can fill. He says as he rambles on again. So this is going to do it for me for this episode. I will continue to fill up most of the time that I have available podcasting. So I'll still be in your ears if you're still listening. I appreciate you all so very, very much. Thank you for being with me on this journey. Second time I've said that in the show. Please share me with a friend. This episode, I think, is pretty cool. Maybe I'll try another one sitting down next week. Or later this week. I don't know. In the meantime, I'll be back soon. Until then, please, please, please be good humans. It's the least we can do for each other. And stay strong. Stay safe. Love you.